Hi guys, here to show you my 1988 Johnson 20 horsepower short shaft outboard that I converted to a 35 horsepower. Yes, it's totally possible. All you need to do is take the carb and the intake off of a 35, an earlier 35 or a mid-80s 35, put it on a 20. Okay, you have to advance the timing as well, the final timing, and I'm here to show you how this 20 horsepower that's been juiced up to 35 horsepower goes on my boat. So if you notice here too, this used to be a primer motor. Okay, I'm using the old school choke carburetor. Okay, the choke butterfly, the choke rod fits perfectly in the exact hole that your primer would actually sit in. See, and I got full function of the choke, so it's actually drilled from the factory in the right spot. So anyways, we're gonna start this up and show you how this 35 horsepower Johnson runs. We're on a 12-foot inflatable right now, so here we go. I'm gonna shut it off. I just did. I clocked it with my phone. I saved a screenshot. I made 34 miles per hour. My 20 would never ever do 34 miles per hour. I was in the low 20s with it. Again, it's a 1988 20 horsepower block with a 35 horsepower intake and carburetor and bypass cover. I'm gonna bring the boat out and show you what I've done so you can have a look and see where things are. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna say GoPro, stop recording. Hey guys, back to you on my 20 to 35 horsepower conversion. I'm just gonna show you what I've done here. Anyways, I'm gonna pull the hood off. It's a 1988 Evinrude 20 horsepower block I've got here. Okay, added the bypass plate from the 35 horsepower. Okay, the intake manifold from the 35 horsepower and the carburetor. The intake manifold's got a bit of a longer runner than the 30 horsepower carburetor. You can see it's right here. It's about a 1/4 inch thicker here. Okay, which allows more fuel into the engine. Also, there's a 5/16 fuel line instead of a 1/8 that normally is set up with a 30 horsepower motor. Okay, I use my test base as a, well, I took apart a 35 horsepower 1981 motor, okay, and I checked it and compared it and did all the measurements. The domes in the head are exactly the same. The bore in the stroke is exactly the same as a 35 and a 20 horsepower motor. What else can I say? The reed plate. I measured the pedals in the reed plate. Now we're talking about a 1981 35 horsepower that I used as a comparison. And I used the carburetor off of the 35. Now another thing that you will notice here is that the choke lever is here. This came with the older model 35 horsepower. This motor was originally a primer motor, which means that there was a primer pump in here. Well, I took that out, okay, and you'll see that the choke fits perfectly in the exact same spot that the primer would fit. Okay, here's the choke. You see how nicely that works? So anyways, to sum it up, I added electric start. It's a wow, I was running like a 35. I had a true 35 on my boat 2 years ago. I made 35 miles an hour with a stainless steel prop. With this motor, the way it's set up, I made 34 miles per hour with an aluminum prop, okay? Which is really, really, really good. Starts easy, runs great, okay? And it's got lots and lots and lots of power, okay? Like, it's actually quite scary. And just I'll show you right there, the airbox is off a 1977 35 horsepower, okay? So that's about it. It wraps it up, guys, and that's how I did it. And you saw the proof. It goes like stink. Anyways, all I have to say about that is GoPro, stop recording.